Hi everyone, my name is Kirsten Solomon and I'm the registered dietitian here at Spectrum Generations. And if you missed last month's class on berries, don't worry, we got you covered. So we talked about berries because berries are often considered superfoods. The reason they're considered superfoods is because they're high in antioxidants, high in vitamin C, they provide anti-inflammatory compounds that help fight free radicals in our body. They improve insulin sensitivity and help with blood sugar management. They also have been found to cause an 8% risk reduction of hypertension, which is high blood pressure. They provide more fiber than almost all other fruits while being lower in calories and lower in carbohydrates. And they also provide prebiotic properties, which support healthy gut microbes. So the first of the berries that we talked about were strawberries. I really tried to go with the growing season in Maine in the order. So strawberries are usually the first to ripen in the spring. And the average strawberry has about 200 seeds, as you can see in the photo there. There are multiple benefits to eating foods like strawberries. They've been found to help prevent diabetes. They've been found to have high antioxidants. And antioxidants are those really beneficial compounds in our brightly colored foods, and they help to fight inflammation and harmful bacteria in our body. They also have been found to lower the risk of cardiovascular disease, probably due to their anti-inflammatory and antioxidant compounds. For nutritional value, they are pretty low in calories. They are about 32 calories per 100 grams. They're high in vitamin C, and they also help with, they have collagen in them, so they help our immunity and help with wound healing. They also have potassium as well, and potassium helps to maintain a normal fluid level in our cells, so helps with our fluid balance, and it also helps to support blood pressure. So highly recommend grabbing some strawberries if you can this season. So our next berry is called raspberries. They are those beautiful red little fruits and that have holes in the middle. They are generally sweet and tart and come in a variety of colors. And one thing that I found out while creating this slideshow is that gold is actually the sweetest of all the raspberries. So there are 200 varieties, but there's red raspberries, more pink raspberries, gold raspberries, and black raspberries. They are related to the rose family, so there are some thorns on the bushes, so be careful when picking raspberries this season. They, 1 cup has about 80 calories, so also pretty low in calories for what you're getting. They are very high in fiber, about 8 grams a cup, which is about a third of what we need. So 1 cup of raspberries is a great option to have, especially if you're not having any other fiber with that meal. Raspberries are a great alternative. Fiber helps support digestive health, it supports healthy blood sugar, it helps lower cholesterol, and has been associated with a healthy weight. So some of the nutritional benefits of raspberries are they're good for heart health due to their vitamin and fiber content. So really beneficial for our heart. So if you're suffering with any heart conditions, adding a cup of raspberries to your day could make a big difference. They also help to improve bone health because it contains something called resveratrol. And what resveratrol does is it helps play a role in calcium balance. So raspberries can really be helpful in kind of helping to maintain strong bones. They also have been found to potentially help with arthritis pain due to their anti-inflammatory property because it contains something called polyphenols, which is a plant compound. The next berry we're going to talk about is blackberries. Blackberries are very similar to blueberries, raspberries, but they are different. They are a little bit juicier and sweeter, and they also are tart similar to raspberries, slightly bigger and a little bit juicier than our raspberries. They contain something called manganese, which is a mineral. And what manganese does is it helps the body form connective tissues, it helps with blood clotting, and it helps with hormones. So as we age and our bodies change, the manganese can be important to help with hormone balance, especially in females. So 1 cup of blackberries contains about 50% of what we need in manganese. It also contains vitamin K. So vitamin K helps with blood clotting, also helps with healthy bones. So 1 cup of blackberries is about a quarter of what we need for vitamin K. Like raspberries, they also contain fiber, and the blue color of raspberries contains something that we call anthocyanins, and that is a compound. It provides the blue color, but it also has nutritional value. So anything blue contains, or purple contains, these anthocyanins. And we know that blue foods that contain these anthocyanins help regulate blood pressure, they reduce inflammation, and they also have been found to improve cognition. Blackberries also contain the highest antioxidant content of any food, not just fruit or berries, of any food. So blackberries are definitely what we would consider a superfood, and very nutritious. So highly recommend adding blackberries to your dietary pattern. They also even have been found to help with dentition, so help support healthy teeth. They harvest around similar times to raspberries, from July to September, and they are different than black raspberries, which is new to me. I never realized they were actually different, which I guess I should have. But the way to tell the difference is that blackberries are a little bit more solid in the middle, where raspberries have that hollowness. Blackberries are more solid. So that's the way to tell the difference between black raspberries and blackberries. Next, we have blueberries. Most of us in Maine have had blueberries. We are known for blueberries here in Maine. And we have both native wild blueberries and farmed blueberries. So the native blueberries in Maine are usually the low bush varietal. So when we're hiking in the woods or, in the forest in Maine, we might see these low bush blueberries. So interestingly enough, blueberries were first found in Maine, and the Wabanaki indigenous population was the first known group to grow commercial blueberries in North America. And they are still growing blueberries today. There's quite a large blueberry operation up in the county called Passamaquoddy Blueberry Farm, and they provide blueberries to organizations all over the country. They are one of the largest distributors to Wyman blueberries, and one of the largest distributors to really Maine blueberries in general. Blueberries are very nutritious, also something that we consider our superfood while being lower in calories and carbohydrates. They contain vitamin K as well, just like blackberries, which helps with our blood clotting and bones. They also contain those anti-inflammatory properties, antioxidants, and those anthocyanins that we just talked about. And that, again, has been found to reduce heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and cognitive decline. So aiming for those blue and purple foods are really great options, and berries are a great way to eat those blue foods. Next, we're going to talk about cranberries. These often get left out because we generally think about cranberries more in the fall with Thanksgiving. But cranberries are still berries. They still contain really great nutritional value. It's still really great for our health. As we all know, they are our most heart berries, so hard to eat on their own, but really delicious paired with other things, and also in baked goods or mixed with a little bit of sugar to make things like cranberry sauce. They are native to swamps and bogs and can grow in most climates. Varietals of cranberries have been found everywhere from the polar regions to the tropics. In New England, the Cape Cod is really popular for its cranberry bogs, so a lot of our cranberries come from Cape Cod area in the New England area. They rely 100% on bees for pollination, so one of the fruits really affected by kind of the bee population to help them grow. They reduce the risk. Their main kind of nutritional benefit, as a lot of us know, involves urinary tract infections. So a lot of times when you go to the doctor, you might be prescribed cranberry juice if you have a urinary tract infection, because they help to prevent the risk. And the reason for that is because the bacteria that sometimes can cause urinary tract infections becomes attached to the lining of the bladder and the urinary tract. That causes the infection. So cranberries have properties that kill that bacteria and prevent that bacteria from attaching to the lining. So it can help with that. It also can help to prevent the overgrowth of H. pylori, which is causes gut inflammation. So H. pylori is often a reason for things like ulcers and GERD and reflux. So cranberries can really help prevent the overgrowth of H. pylori. It also can reduce the risk factor of some cancers, so anti-cancer properties as well, along with all of our other berries. I always say if it has color, then it probably if it has natural color, I should say, then it probably has anti-cancer properties because it has those antioxidant properties, which we know helps to fight against those harmful cells in our body. So what are some ways to eat berries besides on their own, which is a perfectly healthy way and a perfectly delicious way to eat berries? There are a lot of ways to eat berries. And I will also say I am always pro eating frozen berries all year round. Obviously, we have our amazing fresh berries in the summer, but eating frozen berries is just as nutritious and they last a little bit longer. Another thing to think about with berries is we want to make sure, especially with our delicate raspberries, we want to make sure that when we first get them, we pick through them, pick out the ones that don't look good and put them in the fridge. Because if one is moldy, then that can make the entire, and strawberries as well, it can make the entire batch moldy. So we want to make sure to pull out the ones that look a little questionable as soon as we get them. I also recommend waiting to wash them right before eating just to keep the freshness, because the more moisture we add to those berries, the easier it is for them to grow bacteria. Other things to think about with berries, if we're going to freeze them, let's say we go berry picking and have a great yield, we want to maybe freeze them individually, like on a cookie sheet, prior to freezing them in a bag so they don't stick together and get clumpy. So we want to kind of freeze them individually. If you like the clumps, that's fine. If you're going to use them in things like smoothies, then that doesn't matter as much. But if you're going to thaw them and eat them in things like yogurt, it might be better to have them individually frozen. So ways to eat berries. We obviously have our delicious berry salad. My absolute favorite fruit salad to make is a mixed berry salad. It's just so good, so full of antioxidants, and so nutritious for our health. We also have salads. Berries are a great feature for salads. Doing a salad with some greens, berries, nuts, maybe some cheese is a really delicious summer salad and always a big crowd pleaser. We also have our smoothies, our berry smoothies. This is a great way to use up those frozen berries, putting them in a blender with a little bit of Greek yogurt or milk or almond milk or oat milk, whatever your preference is, to get a delicious smoothie, a nice refreshing beverage. Here you can see there's a smoothie bowl, and they topped it with some more berries and some really nutritious nuts and seeds to help optimize their nutrition and get some of those omega-3s in there. They can also be eaten in savory ways, right? Here we have a little bit of a skewer with mozzarella cheese, blueberries, and a little bit of basil. Really delicious way to get berries in, a little bit of balsamic glaze on that. I thought that looked really tasty, so I included that in here. Berry sauce, like a blueberry barbecue sauce is great. Here it's like a pork topping, so a really nice way to get almost like a chutney, a berry chutney on top of your pork or your meat. Yogurt parfaits are another great way to feature berries. Here it actually looks like they maybe made a little bit of berry jam. So obviously we all have our jam or jelly. You could always make like a chia seed jelly or jam and have it with a yogurt parfait. Baked, obviously we have our crumbles and our breads and things like that. So that's that bottom picture there. We also have some ice cream, right, where you make a little bit of ice cream, blueberry ice cream, or even infusing your beverages like we do at our centers. We have some infused water. Great way to add a little bit of freshness, a little bit of that antioxidants and hydration to your water. Maybe make you feel like you're having a little spa day right at home. And then of course in our breakfasts, like pancakes and waffles, great way to feature berries. And that's all I really have for you today. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed this short presentation on berries, and I hope you enjoy your berries this summer.